Hey guys, it's Missy Wolf, and I am here with Rock Royalty today as we're talking with Slim Jim Phantom. How are you?
I'm doing good. How about you, hon?
Oh my gosh, I'm doing so well. Thank you so much. I have to tell you, I could not believe that you had reached out to me on Twitter and that we're doing this interview right now because for me, I do not feel worthy of that.
Uh,
But
I call all hot chicks on Twitter,
I love it. I love it. And what I love too is that I think we connected through Sun Records. Are you a
Well,
fan?
yeah, exactly. That's like a very good show, and my good buddy John McHugh is involved in that show, and my other good buddy Pokey Lafarge. I see when anyone's linked, you know, I'm kind of new to the internet, to be honest with you. If I see 2 or 3 degrees of separation, then I think it's
Yeah.
and even with
I
all the people that I'm friendly with. So there you go.
It's really awesome. Thank you so much too for reaching out because for me, this show, I've been talking about it with so many people. But this show is one of those shows that I think just should have been made a long time ago, but I'm so glad it's being made now. But aside from that, we're here to talk about you. So I want to talk about you. You are a phenomenal drummer.
Oh,
And and I know that you got to start pretty early on. I think you were what, 10 years old?
well, I just wanted to play the drums. I don't know. I think I'm a little bit too young for Beatles on Ed Sullivan, but like there was something like that. I can't remember. I just kind of knew about it somehow. I knew that seemed like a cool way to make a living, and I knew I wanted to do it.
Right.
And I just kept at it long enough. Maybe when I was, 11 or 12 years old, that they meaning the family, like agreed to get me a little drum kit and to give me an hour or so a day to make everybody crazy. And yeah, and it was just something that I always wanted to do on any level. I was in love with the drums, and I would have been more than happy to like work in the drum shop and have a little band and go to the
Right.
city or something. Like the rest is kind of a little bit accident of birth. The two guys in my school were Lee and Brian.
Wow. Well, I think it's really pretty cool, honestly. And the fact that your parents even allowed you to do that so that you could make noise, because, I mean, come on now. Parents do not like a lot of noise. And I think that's really cool that they let you do that. That's really awesome. And
No,
you
wrong.
were you born in New York in Brooklyn? Is that what did I read that right?
Yes. Yes, I grew up on Long Island, but I was born in Brooklyn, lived my early life, and that's where my family's from. Yeah, we grew up in Long Island, 3 of us.
Oh, that is really neat. When did you move to the West Coast?
I came to the West Coast. Well, one of the first times that the band that the Stray Cats played here, I just came to town. We were doing a gig or a TV show, and so there's palm trees,
Mm-hmm.
convertibles. It like really was Charlie's Angels and the Rockford Files, and like I
Right.
didn't, I'm from New York. It like really was like television, and I just never left.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so cool. And I know what you're talking about with all the palm trees and everything because I grew up in California and
Okay.
I just moved to Nashville and
Oh,
I'm so excited to be here. It's a lot slower for me, which I love, but
well,
I know exactly what you're talking about because every time I go back home to visit, those palm trees, man, they get you.
I
They're
just don't
so
like cold weather,
yeah.
and anyone who says, "Well, when we were kids," and I was like, "Well, I didn't like it when we were kids either." It's so
Right.
I but I've been here much longer now than I'm from New York. I'm happy I'm from there, and that's my accent and all that. But and now I've been here much longer than I ever was when we were kids.
Right.
Stray
Right.
Cat started. I was 19 years old when that all happened.
Yeah, that's incredible. And I mean, you have such an amazing, history. I mean, for your album, Built for Speed to go double platinum, and then your song Rock This Town is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And it's definitely listed as one of those songs that shaped rock and roll, which,
So,
is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but just in general, I mean, everybody agrees. You guys took the love of 50s music and you rocked it out, and you made it amazing. And to find out that you played with the Killer himself, that you collaborated with, what was that like for you?
Well, I was in his band for a while, Jerry Lee Lewis. I met him 100 times, and I was never sure if he even knew who I was the whole time. The first time I met him was, when the Stray Cats were starting, and I just went to his gig, and I was introduced to him, and he seemed to know about the Stray Cats and knew that we had brought rockabilly music to a new generation, and we're kind of making it mainstream, and then I didn't speak to him for years, and then I got a call from a guy named Jerry Schilling, who worked with Elvis Presley, and he was one of those kind of guys, and a true pal of mine and then he wanted me to go on a TV show with Jerry. We did the Tonight Show, and I wasn't sure if he remembered me from when he met me, and then I didn't speak to him again for 5 years. Then I got a call that he needed a drummer for some shows, and I wasn't sure that he remembered that it was me who did the Tonight Show with him, and it was the guy that met from the Stray. I was never sure with him. He's a character. I mean, I spent a lot of time with him. I don't know if I was ever had an actual conversation with him ever. He's a unique character.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's once guys like him are gone. That's pretty much it. I don't know if they make new ones like Jerry.
Right. No, definitely, and that's what we've been talking about. And I don't know if you noticed, but there was a petition going around for him to be inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame, and they announced the inductees, just I think it was yesterday or the day before, and he wasn't on the list. And so many people are so sad about some of the people that didn't make the list because, people like Jerry Lee and Dottie West, you know what I mean? Like, they completely deserve to be there. And, I mean, everybody who was inducted deserves to be there, but I mean, give these guys a shot while they can still enjoy it and celebrate it with their family. And
sure, I maybe someone like Dottie West. I don't know her. I know a few of her songs. She's I love all that stuff. And, Jerry, I don't know if he cares.
Yeah,
I think that's the thing with him. I don't know if he even cares. If you told him he was in the the Hall of Fame, he would ask how much bread that he got for it, and if it would increase his royalty. He doesn't care. He really is that guy.
Right.
I think that remember these guys started actually poor, and now they're rock royalties. But I mean Jerry Lee's rock royalty to me. I don't know exactly when, but they hit a spot, a point where they realized I'm a legend. Everyone's telling me how great I am. Where's the bread?
Exactly.
The older I get, the more I relate to it. It's very easy for someone to like it on Twitter and get your autograph and tell you that they got your first album, and it's like, all right, well, believe it or not, I spent that 3 cents we made from that first album.
Right.
So guys like Jerry Lee have that much more. Half a century of bitterness built into it. Right,
definitely.
That, a prize, I don't think he even cares.
Yeah, well, I will tell you that his son was very excited that I was going to be talking to you today. So Jerry Lee Lewis III was very excited that I was going to be talking to you today. So I have a feeling Jerry Lee himself does in fact remember who you are. But they were chatting. Huh?
That's how cool he is. He never let on if you did.
Well, maybe not, but I mean, they were definitely asking me when the interview was going to be done today. So, there was a lot of people that were on my personal Facebook page, throwing out a bunch of questions. And one of those questions, and it's something that I run into a lot. When somebody can relate your name to something, or if there's a specific item in one of your songs, like the name of an alcohol drink, when you go to shows, people tend to give that to you all the time. And so one of your fans wants to know, with your name being Slim Jim Phantom, Did people ever mess with you and give you or send you boxes of Slim Jims?
I don't think so. I mean, I remember when I was a kid. I actually had one of those nicknames. My dad was Big Jim. He was a big guy. He was a fireman in New York City. And I was always a little bit taller and skinnier, not as big. My dad was a big guy. He was Big Jim,
nice.
And I was just Slim Jim. So when it went into rockabilly, it was cool to have a nickname. And I already kind of, I didn't like it in the beginning. You know, don't call me that. But so it wasn't, and it was an organic nickname, which is good. I meet these kids and, hi, I'm Hot Rod Pete, and I'll say, well, who calls you Hot Rod Pete? You know,
right? Exactly.
So, I would like to do a commercial for Slim Jim. If the guys out there listening, I'll make believe I'm eating one.
Right. I love that, and I have to tell you, because you said you got that nickname because of your dad. I haven't said this to anybody during an interview. I've never said it on camera so that people could hear me, but I have to tell you, my dad's name is Jim. I am my dad's carbon copy. So my parents always called me Little Jim.
There you go. You go.
I didn't make the Slim Jim, but I made Little Jim.
Well, I think I was Little Jim when we were kids, and then that evolved into this and that, and again, when we discovered rockabilly music, it was the back of Gene Vincent's album. Everyone had a nickname. It was Gallopin' Cliff Gallop and Jumpin' Jack Neal, and I had one built in. Then I embraced it. Yeah,
that's really awesome, and I think it's just really great when you have something like that, because to me that's what makes you stand out, and that's what helps you be remembered, because
of course
it really is. It's so catchy and it's fun, and I think it's great. And man, you haven't slowed down, you haven't stopped working, you're just constantly doing stuff. So tell me what you're working on now, because I know a little bit about what you're working on now, but that some of the people listening might not know. And how do you go from 50s rockabilly to a punk band?
Well, part of it was always, in a strange way, part of the manifesto of what we were doing was that it's kind of all the same, That's my little dog. If there's something good, then it's good. Duke Ellington, I think, I'm copying his quote, but there's two types of music in the world. There's good music and there's bad music. So whether it's punk or rockabilly or country or reggae or blues or pop or opera or whatever, there's good ones of it, and then there's just the rest of it. And the punk rock band, which one are you talking about that I'm doing?
Dead Men Walking.
Oh, well, Dead Man Walking has kind of evolved into this thing called Jack Tars. And it's funny you say that, because tonight, after I get off the phone with you, I'm going to go see The Damned play. They're in L.A. And this other band that we have called the Jack Tars, which was Dead Man Walking, evolved a little bit, is with Captain Sensible, who's in The Damned, who's just been a friend, 30-something years. And we always try to find ways to do stuff together, all your original pals. We try to.
That's great
stuff. We did a few tours, and where we kind of played everyone's greatest hits. We did a kind of loud acoustic kind of thing. It was myself, Mike Peters from The Alarm, Captain Sensible from The Damned, and a guy named Chris Cheney, who plays in a band called The Living End, Australian ace rockabilly, kind of revved up rockabilly kind of guys, and then it evolved into we wanted to try to make a record. We did a little EP, and now we're trying to find some more time to spend together. Again, it's your pals, and I always say some guys go and play softball on Saturdays, but we go and make a little record. That's
right. That's so cool, though. I love that. And when fans read your bio and they see what you've been doing, what you've been up to, what you have going on, I mean, it seems like you have just this long list of amazing musicians in your life that you're connected to, that you've done work with, and it's fantastic to see. I love it. But I have to tell you, my favorite thing that I found out about you is that you literally climb mountains to help others. So
Yeah, oh yeah.
tell everybody about that, because that meant so much to me when I read it, and I never would have known. And I think it's great.
The mountain climbing part of the story is again connected to Mike Peters, who's famously in a band called The Alarm. They had a bunch of hit records in the '80s, and they were the opening act on the first Stray Cats tour.
Oh.
In England, and this is literally 37 years ago. So, and we just stayed friendly. I mean, it's funny, all these people that we talk about that I've had the privilege of working with, whether it was Lemmy, rest in peace,
right,
Captain Sensible, Mike Peters, Glenn Matlock from the Pistols. These are all people that we've literally known 37 years that I met when I first went to England, and we just, stayed pals. And like I said, but guys go bowling on a Saturday. We go and do a gig. That's what you know how to do. Right. As recreation as well as for a job, you do what you know how to do. And so Mike Peters, who we've been playing with and know in the past, he unfortunately was diagnosed with cancer. And he kind of went into, lockdown for a couple of years, did chemo and radiation, all that awful stuff. And when he came out the other end in remission, he organized a charity called Love, Hope, Strength. And again, in a small irony, the guy who did the documentary for it is a guy, John McHugh, who worked on Sun Records TV show that I was looking at his thing and you came up. So it's all connected, right? It's all, I think the universe is one big kind of thread that goes through everything. So Mike Peters, when he got a remission diagnosis, wanted to give back, and he's very involved in cancer charity and research and speaking in front of Parliament and politicians about stem cell research and just gives back. And he asked me to go and climb Mount Everest with him, and I had never climbed a mountain. In LA, we hiked in the hill, but you might as well. And I say that if he had asked me to go deep sea diving, I would have had to have done that. I didn't have any urge to climb any mountain. So, with of course no training and like not reading the book till the night before the reports due, that kind of thing.
Yes.
He turned up in Tibet, Nepal, and we climbed Mount Everest. Took about 2 weeks. We went to base camp, and which is again 2 weeks, and it was myself. Again, it sounds like strange bedfellows, but it's all people that we've known our whole lives. Glenn Tilbrook from Squeeze, Cy Kiernan, who's in a band called The Fix, Robin Wilson from Gin Blossoms, Mike Peters, myself. Again, on paper, who do these guys? Well, everyone's got the same job, and we're just friends for 100 years, whether or not the music, like, rockabillys aren't only friends with rock.
Right, exactly.
Or I'm not anyway. I can only speak for myself. So we had this crazy adventure that we hiked to base camp, Mount Everest, and then we went up a little further, and we did a gig on the ledge. We carried a snare drum up there and a couple acoustic guitars, and we rocked this town. It was like minus 20, and we did rock this town and a couple other ones, and it got into the world record book for the highest concert for a little while, and I think someone beat it somehow. So I came home. I done a good deed. They filmed it for National Geographic, I think, or one of those kind of channels, and that was it. I had a clean conscience. I asked my friend that asked me for help, and then I said, "Don't ever ask me to do something like this again." And he was okay. A year later, they called back. And I stay in touch with everyone, of course, but called back and said, okay, we're going to do the same thing in Kilimanjaro. And I never been to Africa, and like that's the thing with our crazy life. It's all somehow these places you go to. There's always a gig attached to the other end of it.
Right.
I the idea of you going to Paris. Oh, that's great. Yeah, you got to play a gig though, or have $1 million to go on vacation. But so when it was all this and rhinos and a safari too, so then we agreed to go to same gang went to Kilimanjaro, and I loved Africa. We stopped along the way, went to villages, and we went to cancer hospitals. That's attached to all this, not just swanning about. We go and we go to hospitals along the way, and we raise money, and we buy cancer drugs that they couldn't afford in these country hospitals, really. And the one that we did in Everest, we raised enough money to buy a radiation machine.
Wow.
To the Kathmandu Children's Hospital, and so there's like a good deed attached to these things as well. And really, it's all from the fact that I, went to school with Lee and Brian, and we formed a band and made a record. Everything else is a result of that. So I always have gratitude towards the other two and the whole concept of rockabilly and playing the drums, and it's just the things that I followed in my life that I would have done anyway, really.
Absolutely. And well, I want to applaud you for doing that and stepping up to help your friend and help others in need. I mean, man, climbing a mountain, getting into the record books for playing the highest gig. I mean, that's not something I ever would have even considered or imagined, thought about anything like that's. What an awesome story you have. That's really neat. And I don't know. I think it's great. And I hope you guys have pictures of it all.
Oh, there's a lot of pictures. Yeah. It's just kind of recently I had to find my son's birth certificate for some legal schmiggle thing. And I didn't know where it was, of course. So I had to go through a few dreaded boxes that were in the garage. And I just hit a treasure chest, and I found everything. The original passport photos from the Stray Cats, like library card from junior high school, just insane things that no one would have. And amongst all that, thousands, literally, of photographs. So someone must have always been taking pictures. And I used to carry around like those plastic cameras that you'd drop the film off. And, I just used to carry them around with me. Which I should have done with the phone these days, but I don't. It's funny. But anyhow, so amongst that, I found so many pictures, a lot from Everest, and they also made a little film about it. And Mike has a documentary now called "The Man in the Camouflage Jacket," which just got showed at the Austin, Dallas Film Festival and the Palm Springs one. You hear, so it's like it's an indie film that's getting a lot of buzz, and again, it was done by this guy John McHugh, who's involved in the TV show Sun Records. That how you and I met. So it's all connected. All this is connected by my book, which is really the main thing I'm doing now. Is I have a book called A Stray Cat Struts. And it's on St. Martin's Press. It's a real book, and that took me a year to write. That came out a few months ago, and that's really what we're trying to. All these stories under one roof, and it's hard, to realize that this is what you. It took a year of staring at a typewriter, and eventually something comes out every day.
Yeah, definitely. I know.
So it's a good, it's done pretty well. And again, it wasn't me telling stories about hookers and blow and jumping out of helicopters with strippers. It's a real, which that stuff's really cool too. But I tried to write a little bit of a different book, and the mountain climb and the charity work is a big part of it.
That's so awesome. And so this is at Barnes & Noble, you said?
Well, you can get it at Barnes & Noble, you get it anywhere. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's called A Stray Cat Struts, and there's lots. And as wacky as all these stories are, you go in the middle, and there's pictures of it all.
That's wild. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to be at Barnes and Noble on Sunday, so
Barnes and Noble, it's right there. It's next to Springsteen's, and Steve Tyler is right next to all the.
Nice. Oh, I'm going to have to check that out. I'm so excited. And I think I read that you get to go back to Australia like in a month or two in May. I'm so jealous if you're going. I'm so jealous.
Going to Australia in May, yes.
Yeah. Man. Well, you have a ton of fun there. I'm super jealous, but you better be like tweeting some pictures and stuff. I want to see. I've always wanted to go there.
For a century, and I got a phone. Sorry, I still don't have the technology to do a video interview. But I do have a phone, and if I learn how to put Skype onto the phone, the next one we could do it like that.
Yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be fun. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me tonight. I really do appreciate it. And thank you for squeezing me into your schedule because yesterday, I'm so sorry that I just could not do it yesterday, but thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Not everybody can be as flexible as you were with me, so I really do appreciate that. But is there anything else that you want to tell everybody before we go?
Well, I'm going to go see Captain Sensible tonight in the Dam, so I don't know if they're playing Nashville, but go to their gig when they come to town.
All right.
It's all about this book that we're trying to really talk about. It's like all these crazy stories. If you're a fan of rockabilly music, but just a good rock and roll story from Massapequa to being on tour with the Rolling Stones when I was still in my teens. It was, and then now not in my teens and still at it all.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And Extraordinary Life with a bunch of stories and the pictures that back it up. And sometimes I don't even think that it was me. It happened to someone else. And
right.
Now just have fun. My son just came home with a pair of glasses, and I walk my little dog and go see The Damned.
All right. Well, you have a great time, and man, I look forward to hearing more from you. But until then, just keep on rocking, doing what you're doing. We love it, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for staying in touch anytime, Missy.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.